Welcome, age of vintage society. If my brain serves me right, only entrepreneurs or people in some business closes shop. Famous Jane Fonda gave me a reason to rethink when she said, "It's over down there. I've closed up shop." Unless she ran it like a business, a friend suggested. She is one lady whose greatness rings bells in the entertainment scene, not just for her exceptional success, but for the things she did and her failed marriages. As she gracefully ages, it's natural that she relaxes and reflects, but calling it a quit is as interesting as the romantic spell she cast on men as a young beauty. "I've never experienced true intimacy with a man." Jane Fonda. Jane Fonda is one of the iconic ladies whose presence exudes fun and colourful atmospheres. And while she was busy on the runway and later on screen building her career, lots of men were rushing to exploit her innocence. A pure soul who earnestly searched for love her entire career life, to no avail. With her exceptional success in the entertainment industry, Fonda appears like one who had seen it all in love relationships with men. What do you know about this elegance personified? A classy lady who made an outstanding movie career with her beauty and flair and secured for herself a place as one of the talents that have emerged in the movie world. I'm still wondering if she'd closed shop for the men who still desire her love even at her age. The truth remains that Jane Fonda fell in love more often than she should have, and more than once love failed her. It's therefore reasonable if she lost faith in love, now that she is in her 80s. The ex-fashion model has no doubt lived an accomplished life, considering her numerous awards and recognitions, an unmatched fit as an actress. Her nature-made splendour, one of her most powerful tools in the industry, may have exposed her to predators, the reason she is drawing the curtain on the heads that still turn as she passes despite her age. She has chosen to remain alone at a period we thought she needed a partner more than ever. A quick assessment could link her decision to 3 failed marriages. It seems the reason is even more shocking because the boyfriends in her life were not better either. A few years back I was listening to Jane Fonda talk about her love life. I must confess that it could pass for one of the most hilarious and candid things to experience in love. Listening to her love tales is as delightful as her glamorous career. Interestingly, Fonda spoke of her life as a single and not searching lady as very peaceful. She learned to face life and her career alone, the newest hobby that is keeping her happy at the moment. This award-winning actress admitted that she learned a lot of lessons from her marriages and former relationships, and wished her marriages had been successful, although critics say Fonda's background contributed to the failures she experienced. But are there things Jane Fonda was looking for in men that she didn't see in her past relationships? I don't think I have the answer. After a cursory reflection on her 3 ex-husbands and the paths they all played in her life, Fonda was grateful for their contribution because they're much better than the dates she had without commitment. When asked about her flirtation with Marlon Brando, her 1966 co-star in The Chase, the word disappointing is the key word Fonda used in describing the actor. Jane Seymour Fonda was born in 1937 to a privileged family. Her mother was one of the glitterati at her time, Frances Seymour, and her father, actor Henry Fonda. Coming from such a bright family, it was almost natural that she played a part in the entertainment circle. Until she was in 4th grade, her parents fondly referred to her as Lady. Sadly, at the age of 12, Fonda's mother was reported to have passed away by her own doing while she was being treated at Beacon Hospital in New York, and sooner her father married Susan Blanchard, who was 23 years younger, in a union that soon ended in divorce. 15-year-old Fonda took a dance lesson at Fire Island Pines in New York. She got inspired to take up a career in performing arts after she joined her father in a charity show of The Country Girl at the Omaha Community Playhouse. She was so passionate about it that she had to abandon Vassar College in New York, where she was schooling, to follow her dream. After 6 months in Paris for an art study, Fonda returned to the US to join the Actor Studio in 1958 and connected with Lee Strasberg. It was Lee Strasberg, Fonda recalled, who first told her in the actor's studio that she had a talent, and she cued in on it to become who she is. It was a turning point in my life. I went to bed thinking about acting. I woke up thinking about acting, she recalled. Before this time, Fonda was actively engaged as a fashion model, but something almost held her down, her self-image, which she felt was below standard, made worse by her father's comments. Growing up with such an attitude as a child was not the best for young Fonda, as she recalls suffering from poor self-esteem and lacking confidence in public for a very long time. I was taught by my father that how I looked was all that mattered, she remembered, something that made her ignorantly struggle to perfect her look. She appreciated her father as a good man and was ready to please him, but his comments, "Unless you look perfect, you're not going to be loved," which she said hunted her like a ghost until she realized the reality of things, different from that illogical. Fonda first appeared in Broadway drama in 1960 when she performed in There Was a Little Girl, and immediately got early fame with a Tony Award nomination for Best Featured Actress, and a few months later she made her screen debut in the romantic comedy Tall Story. Not too long, Fonda's success spread across the continent of Europe and America, with Best Performing honours from both British Film and American Academy Awards. Fonda, who was practically moulded within the Hollywood arena, never lacked men in her life, even while she was theoretically single. As soon as she was through with the French filmmaker, the man who played the important role in 1968's Barbarella, Fonda quickly got married again within months, and when that one failed too, she took the third step in what became her final matrimony. She was very vocal about her sexual life, once said that despite all the men she had been with, she did not experience a fulfilling sex life. "The only thing I did not experience is true intimacy with a man," she had stated. She, however, hinted that the situation changed when she met one man who had something similar to sexual pleasure much later in her life, when she was dating the 5-year younger music producer Richard Perry. "It happened while she was dating Richard. I feel secure with him," she stated, adding that as often as they met, she still felt with him as if she was still in her 30 years ago strength, considering the way he makes love to her. Though they separated 8 years after a marathon relationship, Fonda still remembers Richard as one man who made her feel like a woman, perhaps the reason the duo remained friends even after quitting as romantic lovers. Perry also spoke of their friendship after separation. They remained in contact with each other even after they listed their deluxe Beverly Hills home so they can live their lives separately. That magnificent house that was purchased for $7.3 million definitely produced sweet memories for the Fonda, and she did not mince words when she acknowledged the exciting time living with Perry. As soon as the relationship with Perry ended, Fonda told fans that she was done with romantic relationships. "I'm 80. I've closed up the shop down there." Though funny, it's quite understandable for a super lady like Fonda that has tested the waters with both official and unofficial marriages. Talking about life with her first husband, movie producer Roger Vadim, Fonda, writing in her book My Life So Far, disclosed a peculiar story of how they fell out of marriage after marrying twice within a short time. They married 2 times, but divorce was still inevitable. When Fonda first met Vadim, she found him very attractive, and their relationship looked so rosy to have led to a marriage in the US sometime in 1965. After this, she left her hometown and united with her husband in France, and sooner they discovered that their marriage was invalid by the French law at the time. To hold on to their sweet romance, the couple was compelled to do another wedding to conform to the law, and it was done. While they were busy signing registers, they never envisaged anything like separation, even as the marriage was consummated with their daughter Vanessa. But one major issue that destroyed that marriage was her husband's drinking habit, and the usual issue of infidelity. Sooner, Fonda found herself struggling to make the marriage work. She had to endure until 1973, when her nerve could no longer stand the daily torment. She took her young daughter away and returned to the US to focus on her career and raising her daughter. After that calculated walk away from her marriage, Fonda met and fell in love with another man. This time it was Tom Hayden. Although that union lasted more than most critics predicted, it eventually failed at the appointed time. It seems they were attracted to each other because of their common interest in social activism. Though the two first met at a downtown playhouse, it appears Tom got smitten by glamorous Fonda after listening to her inspiring anti-war rendition at a Vietnam War protest in 1972. And from nowhere Tom Hayden rose to fame with his marriage to Fonda the year after. The couple wedded just 3 days before her first marriage divorce was finalised. A few things were done in secrecy with that marriage because they had hope and trusted each other for a better family. Some said they did not want unnecessary media criticism. Recall that their son Troy Garrity was born that same year. Reports said the couple decided to name their child after Fonda's mother's maiden name, Garrity, because of the disgrace that was coming from Tom's provocative parents. The duo spent a remarkable 17 years together as a husband and wife, and just when every one of her fans was thanking God that Fonda finally found love, the marriage hit the front pages of the media for the wrong reason in 1989. Expectedly, fans were curious to know why they were ending the marriage. The reason was not different from the first. Apart from being unfaithful to Fonda, Tom also became somewhat jealous of her success after she achieved the world's bestseller rank with her Jane Fonda workout book publication. He felt she was not good enough, as such did not merit such a high status. Somehow after their separation the two managed to maintain a professional relationship, as they were seen together at the liberal mass organisation Campaign California, championing ideas on a common cause. Several years after, Fonda hinted that she left her marriage to Tom because of a nervous breakdown, and thereafter she decided to have an open mind about the relationship so she can easily recover from the trauma. It's in that painful, difficult place that the stems of new things start to grow if you allow them, she had explained. At this time, Fonda has gotten more mature in her relationships, having gone through double heartbreaks. She still believes in love, which was why she was willing to give it a try for the third time. After divorcing Tom, Fonda met and fell for CNN's Ted Turner. A brief moment with him in Montana was enough to convince her of his intelligence and humbleness. To say the obvious, he stole her heart in what began like a fresh romantic journey. In 1991 they cemented their affair in matrimony in an event that had a very minor number of guests, low-key wedding. The newly wedded couple later entertained friends and family in Turner's ranch to climax the occasion. Fonda was credited for influencing Turner's choice of being a real family man, with the two assisting and conducting family reunions. Things were all rosy for them to have made the actress relocate to Montana. That marriage had its peculiar flavour of marital bliss. Many said it was a beautiful marriage until something happened. After a few years of honey with him, reports say Fonda took time out so she could be with her daughter in Atlanta, who was nursing a child at the time, and spending less time with Turner. Apart from Turner not trusting her enough, being away from him for a longer period also affected Fonda's psyche about the marriage, but the main issue was that she found a new way of obtaining peace and love. The actress found love in Christianity. Fonda later told fans how her change of faith worried Turner, but she ignored the behaviour because he would have persuaded her not to join Christianity, which is something she did not want. He needs someone to be there 100% of the time, she said. I'm not sure if that is lovesick or just his nature, but Fonda noted that it's the only thing he considers as love, and added that she did not think of that as love, but rather it's babysitting. That was how the union broke down, and they went their separate ways, and in her words, I grew up. I think that was when she gave a second thought to marital life, and concludes that it was not worth the trouble. There was also a report about Turner's infidelity. Fonda, who thought that he would change, was dismayed as the act continued. All that made her believe that perhaps he was just one of the men. Those who knew her thought that the sadness she experienced during the period affected her appearance, as she may have spent time thinking about her marriages and their failures. And after finalising the divorce in 2001, Fonda spoke passionately of how she spent 10 years together with him and always caring for him. She felt so sad that it ended the way it did, but agreed that it's time to move on, and I wish him well, in her words. If you were intrigued as we were, then you won't want to miss our next video. We're about to reveal the scandalous secrets behind the rise to stardom of none other than Michelle Phillips.